Hey everyone, today is the 17th day of the 30 days of live November video challenge. And so having a ton of fun with these. I think the last few times, and including this one, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about just common sayings, things that are meant to inspire you, to help you kind of understand that it's a lot bigger than just what's occurring today. Because obviously today there could be horrible things that happen. You could be getting knocked down, like the status of this message is kind of about. So if you get knocked down, that's not what matters. That's going to happen a lot throughout your life. It's going to happen in all different aspects of your life. And all that really matters is how many times you get back up. Obviously, you want to get up more times than you get knocked down, because if you get knocked down and you don't get back up, then that's when things really start to pile on. That's when life starts to get a little bit crappier, because you just don't get to see those wins. You don't get to rise above those challenges and get to reach those achievements. And so one thing that happens when you are in the middle of that crisis, in that situation, you get knocked down, you're kind of thinking to yourself, like, should I even get up? Can I get up? Can I recover from this financial issue or this life issue? And the answer is yes. It just takes you kind of stepping up and realizing that things are going to be harder before they get better, but that doesn't mean that it's not worth doing. And I've been asked this a lot because I've been on a couple of podcasts recently, as far as like who's a mentor and I definitely have people in my life that have been awesome mentors. But one of the things that stands out as far as how I live my life and how I go about doing things is there is he used to be a boxer. His name was Arturo Thunder Gotti, and it was pretty interesting, his fighting approach. He would get beat down so bad. He didn't have a good defense. He would take a lot of beatings. He'd get knocked down a lot. He'd get cut. He'd be bleeding all over. And the thing I really loved about him, I try to live my life kind of based off of this model, is he would always come back. If he got hit 3 times, he'd come back with 5 punches, even though he probably couldn't see straight, even though he's kind of getting knocked around. And for a good portion of his career, he would mount these crazy comebacks. Didn't matter how many times he got knocked down, how many times he broke his hands while fighting, he would always get up. And so that's something that's always inspired me. I think it's probably pushed me to deal with a lot of stuff that maybe other people don't feel as comfortable in that moment. And we can all do that. We've all had to overcome different challenges and obstacles in our life. And the first step to kind of getting up and get going and start moving in the direction you actually want to go is assess the situation. So obviously you got to this place. Was it just something that was beyond your control? Was it a complete emergency or accident that really you couldn't have prepared for or protected against? Or was it something of your own doing? Did you have a strategy and your strategy just wasn't a good fit for what you were trying to achieve, what you were up against? And that's going to give you a good identity as far as, well, what do I have to do moving forward? As you assess the situation, you can look at what your situation is as far as cash flow, your budgeting. Is that something that needs to be honed in on and tightened so you can have more control, so you can put yourself on a better first step as you move forward? Then there's also the financial resources that you may have already built up over time. There may be things that you could leverage and tap into in order to kind of help you ride out this situation that you're going to get through. Because sometimes it's not just as simple as getting up. It's getting up and taking that first step. It's getting up, throwing that next punch, and knowing that there's going to be more punches coming back towards your way. And you can do it, though. And I think that the biggest thing is you actually still have a shot with boxing and life. As long as you're still breathing, you still have the opportunity to get up and make what you want to occur actually occur. And it just takes that commitment to saying, yep, this isn't going to feel good for a little bit, but I know that if I start doing these things, now that I know that strategy wasn't working, or that that's kind of a low, I can only go or improve from this situation and really start making those steps forward. You are going to be behind possibly financially or just whatever it be. And just know that it means that you're going to have to ask more of yourself. You're going to have to probably work a little bit harder than you did that first part of the fight, that first part of the round. And just know that you have to keep going. You have to step up. You have to make additional changes. You have to ask yourself to rise to the occasion and get through this. And sometimes it's not easy if you just kind of think on your own kind of personal stuff. You might have to project your why as far as what that is. If it's just you find out what's important to you, find out what's worth getting up and fighting for, and that will help you kind of make these sacrifices, these different adjustments that you're going to need to make in order to actually turn the game around and actually come out on top. But yeah, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down. Just make sure you get up, make sure you keep fighting, make sure you focus on the things that are important to you, and things will work out more times than not. And again, while you're in the moment, it's going to feel pretty sucky. It's not going to feel good, but that is temporary, and it's something that you can actually change. And the best thing to do is make that change as quick as possible. So get right out of that bad situation as fast as possible, because this is going to show you that you are capable of getting out of it, and that will help you in future obstacles and challenges to just remember, look back on this situation like, oh, remember when we thought that was probably it for this situation, that I was never going to recover financially, I was never going to recover personally, whatever it be, but you overcame it, right? So let's use this as your opportunity for a good positive thing to look back on in the future when you face that next challenge, because these challenges are going to be of all different kinds, and you need to be able to rise to the occasion.